the Cahir and Chuck Ó'Snodaigh try second.
And we've dealt with some of these issues earlier on today. These are the questions in relation to what has occurred for many decades in Baldonnel Airdrome, and I'm asking once again that you take the required action to ensure that the appropriate protective clothing and every single step is taken to ensure that the current serving members of the Air Corps are protected.
Military authorities have advised me that there was no delay in relation to the Air Corps response of the Health and Safety authorities of the HSA report. On the 21st of October 2016, the HSA issued its report of inspection to the Air Corps. I am advised that this was the only written report issued to the HSA on foot of 3 visits to Baldonnel during 2016. The report outlined a number of general improvements and recommendations and included the risks of risk assessment, health and surveillance monitoring of employees' actual exposure to particular hazardous substances, and to the provision of the use of personal protective equipment. The Air Corps has responded to the HSA on the 20th of December 2016, outlining its improvement plan and indicating its full commitment to implementing the improved safety measures that protect workers and ensure that risks are as low as reasonably practicable. As I outlined earlier, this plan will be implemented over 8 phases. As recognised in the HSA report of the 20th of October 2016, the Air Corps has already commenced activities of improvement and were proactive in implementing change before, during and after the engagement with the HSA. Namely, the Air Corps were pursuing a review of the risk assessment of chemicals processes commenced in Q2 2015, and the HSA provided advice on this process during their visits. A new approach of chemical awareness training within the Air Corps commenced in Q1 2016. Finally, in terms of personal protective equipment, the military authorities have confirmed that the Air Corps provides personal protective equipment to all workers in the Air Corps, and they are required to wear such equipment in the workplace when necessary. These requirements are set out in a range of military policy and practice documents. The Air Corps Improvement Plan provides for further actions relating to risk assessment and training focused on PPE. I wish to assure the Deputy that the health and safety of the men and women of the Defence Forces is of the highest priority for me and of the Military Management and Authority.
And I welcome the clarification that the Minister has given in terms of the military authorities' response to the HSA report, because I was concerned that they waited until the report was finalised before taking any action. You have said now that they had already started to take action, but they hadn't taken action before that, really. The HSA report, made 8 recommendations, 7 of which I'm told are now virtually completed, but they were the easy one, and a lot of them was dotting the T's and crossing the T's and dotting the I's. What exactly is involved in the 8th phase, and how long will the 8th phase, which is the recommendations, take to be concluded? And are you confident that, as we speak, that none of the Air Force personnel are exposed to the type of chemicals that lead to diarrhoea 20 times a day, suicidal tendency, anxiety, headaches, the DNA alterations, discoloration, cancers and all of that? Are those chemicals now secure, that the personnel are not exposed to them, and that they have the equipment to deal with them, as they didn't have such equipment in the past?
Just let me assure the Deputy that I have written to the Chief of Staff earlier this year, looking for a report that all of the recommendations provided or given by the HSA to the Air Corps, that all the recommendations are being carried out. What I will do, Deputy, is I will forward you on a copy of the exact, and I've said it here I haven't got a copy of it here with me, and I apologise for that. I should have had a copy here with me. That I haven't got the dates and everything that are being carried out of, not the specific issues, but of the timelines and exactly what has been carried out. I think most of the 8 things are to be concluded in May of this year, but I can maybe corrected on that. But let me assure the Deputy, on foot of writing to the Chief of Staff, he has written back to me. There's a number of issues that I just want to address, the correspondence he's written back, and I will be in correspondence with the Chief of Staff on another occasion.
Very briefly, just the level of exposure to the dangerous corrosive and cancerous chemicals that happened in the past, kind of what I was told was akin to exposure kind of following chemical warfare attack on a daily basis. I would like to point out to you, because I mentioned reports that I'd seen earlier. The reports I saw were from 22 years ago, 20 years ago and 3 years ago, and they highlighted the lack of identification for chemicals, kind of the fact that there was cross-contamination of chemicals, no personal equipment, and a number of other issues. Also, one of the things that I can't fathom is why the military authorities here did not take action around the same time as the Australian authorities were taking action for the very same thing in 2000.
I get the final response, Minister.
Deputy, I've been aware that there are a number of litigation cases pending, dating back since 1991. As you know, the litigation is totally separate. Once I go back to the protected disclosures that were received in my department in December 2015, there was 2 and 1 in January 2016. And I have taken absolute, since my appointment in May of 2016, that I appointed an independent person to review. The first person felt he hadn't got the qualifications to carry out the review. On foot of that, there was another person appointed later on in late August, early September, and they have given an interim review in late November. I've been in correspondence with the Defence Forces on all of these issues, because I take these issues very, very seriously, because it is about the health and welfare of members of the Irish Defence Force, specifically people in the Air Corps.